What is up, book nerds? We are talking about how La La Land has the perfect use of color. Let's hop into this. I'm not going to waste your time today. Just wanted to let you know I am so glad that you're here. When I first got the idea for this essay, I was rewatching all the movies from the 2017 Best Picture race, and I saw La La Land, the heavily favorite Best Picture nominee, that eventually lost in spectacular fashion. But back to the point of this, I saw how beautifully it used color and how it was a crucial part of it winning Best Cinematography and it having the best cinematography of 2017. La La Land cinematography is ridiculously good, and the best aspect of it is color. It uses color beautifully. It has amazing color palettes. And something I want to highlight is its spectacular use of primary colors. Even in the movie poster, you can tell its beautiful use of color. You can tell the amazing shades of blue in the sky. Where I live, the sky is never that blue. It's usually some dark shade of gray. And also, you can see in Emma Stone's dress a vibrant shade of yellow. And in the background, you can see a vibrant shade of purple, even if it's more subdued than the blue and the yellow. I just want to take a couple seconds to highlight how competitive 2017 was as a year to put in perspective of how great La La Land cinematography was. Is its main rival was Arrival from Dennis V something. I'm gonna butcher that last name, but no, it's the guy who made Dune. Both of these movies have spectacular cinematography in different ways. I personally prefer La La Land because I love its use of color. But back to the main section of the video. Now I want to look at one of the color palettes in one of the scenes, specifically the dancing scene that is also shown on the poster that we saw earlier. You can tell the same beautiful shades of yellow and blue and the vibrancy of it. This is one of the examples of its great use of color and the importance of color in this story. This is one of the driving forces of the plot is the emptiness of Hollywood and how that's shown in color. Basically, it's like a gilded almost because it's all bright and vibrant on the outside, but it's more neutral on the end. Like there's not enough heart, which plays a big role in their relationship of our two characters, Sebastian and Mia, which I'll delve into a little bit later. Stay tuned for that. Now I want to show you three different pictures and all their different points of the plot. The first picture we have at the top is the opening scene. We have a well diverse spectrum of primary colors. They're all very different from each other, but they're all very vibrant. This shows how Hollywood looks all pretty on the outside. All of them have all these hopes and dreams and see Hollywood as a bright, wonderful place. Which can kind of be carried into the second image, which is right below it, which is Mia's audition scene, which she still sees Hollywood as this bright, wonderful place, but it's a little more subdued because most of these auditions do not go well. This is a big struggle for her at that point in the plot. So they're less vibrant. They're still bright colors, but they're like dingier almost. And then the third picture we have is the scene in which they sing A City Full of Stars. This is one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. This is probably the most emotional scene that's not the ending. I'm not going to spoil that. But here we have our two characters in a bright green back in a vibrant green background with plenty of shades of green as shown. Down below we have Ryan Gosling dressed in black and Emma Stone dressed in a purple dress. So this also is a part of my point is their emotional distance since Ryan Gosling wears more neutral colors, versus Emma Stone, who wears more bright, vibrant colors, where she has all this hope and optimism, and he has more pessimism. He is focused on the art, versus she is more focused on the spectacle of it. And before we get to the main meat of the video, I just wanted to show how amazing this color palette was and how different it is. You can see how many different beautiful colors there are on that screen. I also want to show how color builds up their relationship. Three of the most crucial scenes in their relationship are all shrouded in a particular kind of color. Orange is the scene in which they're in the jazz club, and this is a beautiful piece of camera work where it keeps panning between Ryan Gosling playing the piano and Emma Stone dancing. That scene is shrouded in orange. The scene in which they dance at the observatory, which is shrouded in blue, one of the more romantic scenes, but it's topped by the scene at the bottom. They're seeing of a city full of stars, which is completely shrouded in green. This is the love song of the film. Now we talk about how color is used to contrast our two main characters. Ryan Gosling's character throughout the entire movie wears a lot of neutrals. Even in his more colorful scenes, they are more reserved. I mean, you can see in the picture on the right, this is probably one of his more colorful scenes. It has a tint of orange, but it's not very that bright, especially compared to the picture to its left of Emma Stone in a bright blue dress against a vibrant red background. This main point is to show how they differentiate, which basically becomes the biggest problem in for these two characters in the plot is he's very pessimistic and nostalgic. He holds on to the past, versus she's very optimistic about the future. This leads me into my second point, the pool party sequence, in which we see Ryan Gosling in probably his most colorful outfit throughout the entire film, which contrasts against Emma Stone's yellow outfit, which brings into one of my points about primary colors, about how they are so very different. The pool party scene happens pretty early in the plot, but it does leave a lasting impact, especially when we get to like the last 30 minutes of the film per se, when their two differences really do start to clash a lot. Throughout this essay, I have described Ryan Gosling's character as a bit of a pessimist, which is not entirely true. He is far more pessimistic than Emma Stone's character, but it does fluctuate. At points, he's an idealist. At points, he is a full blown pessimist. While she's remained pretty steadfast as optimist, she always thinks about the best of what could be. Since Sebastian, his dream is to own his jazz club and basically to save the dying art of jazz. But he knows he's probably not going to be able to do that. And that's where his pessimism starts to slowly eat at him until we get to the climax. And and then Emma Stone's character wants him to pursue his dream. She doesn't want him to give up on it because that dream, that bit of optimism, was part of what she loved about him. And this is the point where I do have to spoil it, so if you don't want the spoilers, now's the time you may want to skip ahead a bit. Let's stay to the last 30 seconds. So, this is why the relationship falls apart and why they don't get back together in the end. Partially because of logic and reason that she wouldn't leave her husband and child for him, but also why they broke up in the first place. They broke up which because she didn't want him to give up on his dream, but he was more than willing to give up on a dream of owning the jazz club to go be part of the successful jazz band, which he was a part of. And his success, basically both of their success, eats away at their relationship, which I will get into in the next slide. How color shows the failure of their relationship. Basically, the point where I think their relationship basically broke off was the night of the photo shoot slash Mia's opening night of her play. Basically, this is where both of them fall into pessimism, since the reason why color is important is you see Ryan Gosling surrounded by color, but it's very subdued. You see the greens, you have the yellow, some other colors, and he's in his black suit. He is basically missing her performance so he can be part of this photo shoot, so he can provide for them, even though it's eating him alive because it's basically like soulless work, which you can see some of that in the color. Versus when Mia's giving her monologue and like her playing total, you can see it's basically darkness. It has a bit of hint of green, but it's very subdued color. It's probably the least vibrant scene that she's in because she's basically bathed in color in most of this movie. But here she's in darkness, subdued hues. Most people are dressed in black or green. And this is her most pessimistic because this is when she's like, my acting career is over. This was a complete failure. Which causes their big blowout fight, which basically ends their relationship until she's able to get that successful acting gig, which Ryan Gosling gets at the gig because he wants her to be successful. But that basically ends the relationship right there. But I feel like the relationship was already kind of over at this point. Now the meat and potatoes are over with, I just wanted to talk about primary colors for a second. This film uses them beautifully. I mean, you've seen these three scenes. It is absolutely wonderful. Probably the best use of in color in film I've seen. I think Kubrick may be the only rival to that. And Wes Anderson. Just wanted to give a little final PSA. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified when I upload next. It helps me out more than you think. We're a small channel. I need all the help I can get. I just want to say I'm so thankful that you've stayed to this point. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you subscribe. Peace.